Hello and welcome back to the course on Tableau. In today's tutorial, we'll create the remainder of the required visualizations and use tooltips in solving our business challenge. Now, we need to create two new sheets, so let's start off with the first one. The first one we will actually call the average annual salary map, because that is what we'll have on for the counties on the map of New York State. And to do that, we quite simply drag in the county into our map, and yours might look different, but if you're also located outside of the United States, yours might end up like this, having 62 unknown locations. Now, this normally happens when your regional settings of your machine or your regional settings of Tableau is different to that of the United States when working with the datasets from the United States. To fix that is fairly easy. You literally just click on the 62 unknown and edit locations. You can also exclude the data by using filter data. That doesn't make sense at all in this case, but we'll click edit locations. Now, then Tableau allows us to change the country which it needs to focus on. Now, I'm obviously located in the Netherlands at the moment, so that's why it defaulted to the Netherlands, but we will just go to United States. And we will also change the state and the province, because we know each of these counties each of them are related to the state of New York. And like magic, everything disappears, all of the problems, and it draws us the map properly. We actually want a filled map, so we'll just click on map over there, and these are all of our counties in the state of New York. Now we can continue. We know we want to use the average annual salary as our coloring, so we can just right click, drag that onto color, which will open up a field over there, because we don't want the sum of annual salary, because remember, we have all of the figures for every year. We actually want to then calculate the average over all years. So we'll just click on average, and I think we can make a few improvements. Firstly, the dark lines seem quite daunting, so let's change that to white borders. We can change also the actual transparency or the opacity to 65 to make it a bit more transparent and see what goes on in the background. And furthermore, let's also change the color to, like Kirill always likes to do this, is to change the color to green. I also prefer it like that. And as we've done in the previous tutorial, we want to see the names of each of the counties, and to display it in a nice way, we can obviously see it on the tooltip, but to display it on a nice way, we can just go again into map layers and switch on the county names. We don't need the borders, we already have the borders, but these are the names in the background map. And obviously it shows it for the rest of the counties as well, but it doesn't really matter. We can at least see it on our map nicely now. And that's this visualization done. Very nice and quick. Now we can just move that to the first, as that's our most important one, and we can create our last one. So this is the one where we create the top 5 industries bar chart, where we look at the average annual salary and only show the top 5. So it's quite an easy chart again as well. We will take the average annual salary, put that into columns, and obviously change that to average, making sure we use average, and then also take the industry and put that onto rows. We will also use the industry while holding control down, put that into color. And I just actually want to change the color here and make it something a little bit different, a bit more, not as striking. We'll just assign the palette for now. We know we're only showing the top 5, so we can use that. So there will be a few repeats now, but we will take industry once again and put that into filters, because we know we are only looking for the top 5, and let's just type 5 over there, based on the average annual salary. And there we go. So you can see obviously the repeats are gone, repeats of the number of, or at least of the industries, and we can see the top 5 overall for all, well, the top 5 industries for all years in all different counties in the state of New York. And we can just rename this as well and just call this our top 5 industries. Right, and then we can move on to putting it all together using our nice Viz in Tooltip functionality. So Tableau added this for us, and I think it is just awesome. So you will remember that our client specifically asked not to use a dashboard and to combine these sheets, and also not to give different sheets. So that's where this Viz in Tooltip comes in handy. Now, to add a sheet or a different sheet to your visualization in the tooltip, you just click on tooltip, and obviously just go to the bottom to add it below the text we already have. and you would just add it from this insert button over here. And normally we added the fields from there, but we see this new option called sheets, and there we can select the sheets that we've just built. So let's start with a step line chart. So we just click that, and automatically Tableau fills out all the required information. So you can see it specifies the sheet name, the max width, the max height. So obviously the space within a tooltip is limited, but there it specifies the maximum space that can be used by default. And then also to make sure that all filters that are applied to our visualization here is also then applied to that specific view, or to that specific sheet. So if we hit OK and start dragging our mouse or our mouse pointer over the graph, you'll see how each county then updates the chart, or gets the chart updated for that specific county. Pretty helpful, because now we can see specific spikes like that in Fulton County, or even other spikes in Steuben County, so which were not visible at all when we looked at them together. So pretty nice. What we can then also do is add more than one sheet to this Visin tooltip. So we can just click again, just put it at the bottom over there. Just same approach, and add the top 5 industries. You'll see again all the same values are put in there. Obviously the sheet name will be different. So if you hit OK, now you see we've got 2 over there. So that is pretty neat, and that's exactly what we wanted. But this is obviously not where we'll stop. We need to make some fixes on here. I think the tooltip is way too big. It a bit loses the overall picture, and there's information on there which we don't need. So to edit our tooltip, I think what we can do is we can just change the maximum size, and this is obviously, we are able to edit this. So the maximum, I'm not going to change the maximum width, apologies. We change the maximum height because we want to keep it small, and we can also just change all these headings, so we can make that much bigger. So let's call that an 18 and just give it a different color just to look slightly different, and we'll just call this our average annual salary like that. And we hit apply, or we hit OK, and look at that. Our sheets are much smaller. You can see the spacing used is a little bit less, and we've got a nice heading there as well. So to go and edit the axes and maybe make the font size a bit smaller also on the smaller individual sheets, we can just go into each one, and as we know how we've done this before, we don't need, for instance, the title. It's self-explanatory, and even for year over year we don't really need that, so we can just remove all of it. And then next we can just also format and take this to the smallest size possible, and as you can see now it looks way better in terms of the use of space. And the same with the top industries, we don't need that over there. We can edit the axis as we don't need any, need a title over there. And let's just also make sure that we use the smallest size available in this case, and voila, that is our visualization. And doesn't that look great? And that also then concludes our tutorials for this section. In the next tutorial, we will actually be doing a recap of the most important features which we've learned during this section, and I look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, happy analyzing.